Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The World Championship is nearing its conclusion, some massive results going down last night, but also big updates on the Rostermania side. Lots of tweets in the timeline last night implying that big things are happening behind the scenes. Ardiis is getting involved, FNS is getting involved, and also some questions from the likes of Asuna on 100 Thieves as to what Cloud9 are cooking up right now. Their coach apparently has got some interesting ideas at his disposal as well. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Dashy here, COD player, was playing last night with Sentinels, Tens and Sentinels Zekken, which is pretty interesting to note just because we don't know what's happening with those players. We would well assume Zekken is going to be staying on Sentinels, but Tens, we're not sure that's necessarily the case. It was talked about a while ago by Slasher that he reckons 90 to 95% chance Tens isn't there, and based on the indications of the last few days, you can certainly see that might be the case. Quickly wanted to give an update here on some of the further reaction to the removal of Fracture and Pearl in the competitive scene. We know that Breeze is coming back in, the new map Sunset is coming back in. Fracture and Pearl are arguably, especially Fracture I would say, but they're arguably two of the most interesting maps in terms of, you know, how the dynamic plays out from different teams. And some of the maps that are staying, let's say Haven, let's say Ascent, can be somewhat one-dimensional. Now, certain teams are going to be biased on this because if their favourite maps are getting removed that they're good at, they're not going to be happy. But as Doombro says here from Na'Vi, removing the two best and most interesting maps where teams had different approaches, time to just go simple, boring Valorant with fixed meta. I'm salty, don't listen to me. Haven, the map that has been in the pool since the beginning. Teams mostly playing the same, goals and ideas mostly the same. So, you know, an interesting point, right, that they seem to be dulling down the map set to some degree by the changes they're making here. Another update as well on the Chinese franchise league, which is, I think we could expect at this point going to launch. They're not going to come in as part of the Pacific region. I think it was inevitable they were going to start a Chinese franchise league at some point, and partnership league, whatever, and it's going to happen this year. Whether it's going to be all the way to 10 is a question. I don't know if they'll have enough teams. There's been some questions that even Tai Lu, like, effectively didn't make it, right? So Tai Lu didn't make it, which is pretty interesting. So, so far, these apparently have been the teams that have been confirmed, even NIP, but we've got, you know, BLG, FPX, EDG, Weibo, TS, so some notable teams that are going to make the Chinese franchise league. So it makes sense that for next year, they're going to kick off with this. They're not going to combine it as part of Asia Pacific or anything. It's going to be separate regions. And, well, as we saw, the 4 different regions for this tournament had 2 teams all into the playoffs. So hopefully some good equitable splits there to continue on for future seasons. Now, Rostermania is beginning, baby, and it's all going down behind the scenes. George Geddes is saying, here we go, it's all kicking off, and we get quite a lot happening. I will say that Cloud9 are one of the interesting ones to me at the moment as well, because there were some discussions, even Zelsis was tweeting last night that he might not be so happy with what's going on, and this might just be pure bait from all of these players, and from Jake especially, but worth mentioning at least. I think expecting the unexpected is not enough for what is going down, and Zelsis is like, you know, +1 if only people knew what was happening here, so we might leak something at some point. But we know that Cloud9 were trialing, or at least spotted in practice, with the likes of Trent. And, you know, the other day we saw Net was in there playing with him as well. So, you know, maybe that's nothing, maybe it's something, but I think they were considering options. That might mean Zelsis is gone, that might mean Zeppa's gone. I don't know what Cloud9 are doing, but I think there are big changes coming for Cloud9, I would imagine. What people are probably more interested in for the meantime is what's happening with NRG and, I would say, Sentinels especially. Ardiis, let me know in the comments below, did Ardiis used to have a tick that was associated with NRG? Because he might well have done, and if he did, then it's just been removed, which probably means that he's gone. But if he never did, which is also possible, because I don't remember if I actually ever thought I saw it, to be fair, then there won't be nothing in this. But there is a good chance that Ardiis isn't on NRG. I don't think he was massively impressive this year. I think he was okay. Was he good enough on NRG to keep his spot for next year, especially given there are potentially better candidates, and if they really want to win everything and win champions and win events next year, is Ardiis the man that can take them there? Not so convinced, but you know, there was some interaction here between Ardiis and Ye, which would be a little bit confusing if Ye was his replacement. That might not be going on. We don't really know. But you know, Ardiis is like, oh, seeing all the rumors, can't wait to play with Ye. Oh wait, you know, the rumor says that he's getting replaced by Ye, but that's been a theory for some time, so that might not necessarily check out. Now, Ye also replies to this, and it's interesting to see Ye so active on socials because he hasn't been for quite a long time, which pretty, I would say, it implies like he's kind of back. You know what I mean? Like he's having conversations. They're getting him lined up for a spot here. Now, FNS tweets this out, which, might just be, he might just have effectively faked this, right? But, regardless. Mr. FNS, how are things, Buzz? I heard about everything, wanted to make sure you're all good. So, yeah, heard about everything, he's tweeting it out. The rumour is that he's going to Sentinels. At least that was the rumour from last night, that we think that FNS had potentially a quick trial with Sentinels in their practice, and they actually won that scrim set against Loud, team that did rather well in yesterday's games against PaperX. We'll see here in a couple of minutes' time. So there might be something in that. Finesse to Sentinels, but also at the start of these couple of clips I'll just share here, listen to what Asuna has to say, especially on Cloud9 and the MCE situation as to what he's cooking up, because apparently big changes going on there.
It's just unreal what team combinations are possible now. Like, we're mismatching the best players possible in every team. You thought, like, the franchising last year? Oh my, this year, wow.
I can just say it.
No, not NRG. Just wait. Today's 81, I think it's 31. Let's just say MCE might be cooking something. Nice.
NRG trials, Optic is back.
Well, my question for you guys is that, I mean, they only won the rounds that they won by doing stuff like that. Sean, do they get away with...
Chat tweet Optic. Oh, these guys are baiting for sure. Unless Sentinels was trying FNS instead of Marv as IGL and they won against Liquid or Loud.
That's just not something you expect from PaperX. Is for it to be as slow as it was like that.
We're getting Finesse? Wait, is Finesse coming to Sentinels? Ain't no way, right? That'd be crazy. Wait, Ye put out a tweet people were saying. Let's see what he tweeted. It all comes around? Wait, he's definitely going back then. Or this is obvious bait. It's obvious bait.
Right? I got the stats
it's definitely obvious bait. Mr. Finesse, how's things? But I heard about everything. Wanted to make sure you're G. No, George, no. What's happening? Is he coming to Sentinels?
Honestly, I love it.
Why would he go to Sentinels? He wants to win trophies?
So in classic Zekken fashion here, we do have another lineup that he tweets out. Zekken, Sassy, Pancard, and Marved Wardell. The thing is that I want to know, especially for Sentinels, is what do they do with this Brazilian thing? The theory was a while ago that Sassy Pancada would leave, go back to Brazil, team up with a new squad over there, Furia, MIBR something, and then Sentinels would build a North American roster again. But we thought that might be the case, especially if Tent is going to stay. But now there's talk, there was a talk a while ago that if Louds don't do so well, Loud could theoretically bow out to this tournament top 6, or even if they get top 4, maybe they get further. But if they don't win the entire thing, Loud, I think there is still a chance that Aspas is potentially available. We think there's some friction going on behind the scenes there at Loud, but they're just so good and talented that they could actually make it work right now, despite whatever happens, might be going on behind the scenes. So, Sentinels might need to think about that still, but we don't really know what's happening at the moment, but we know that things are changing, right? With Sentinels, with NRG, with Cloud9, and obviously 100 Thieves, thrown into the mix as well. Evil Geniuses, gotta be said, the only team right now that looks like they might well, play for the long run here, because they are looking tasty, and we'll get into their series in a second. Before that though, we've got to discuss PaperX versus Loud. Massive series of last night, and as I said in yesterday's video, probably the winners of this series go on to become the favourites for the tournament, and I feel like PaperX now do have that status. Yesterday, I mean, this was absurd, let's be honest here. It was, here he is, something again. The things this guy pulls off is just marvellous. Okay, 1 versus 4 in this situation, Spike is down, gets the first 2 kills. I don't know what Loud are doing yet, let's be perfectly honest. To open the chal and open the door like this, I guess he knew that Les was on the left-hand side as well. I mean, to clutch a 1v4 in that manner just is completely unacceptable from Loud's perspective, and they will be gutted about this, because let's be honest, if they won this map, or they won this round, sorry, they go 10-5, they would be in such a good position to close out this map 1, but eventually they lose the game 1. It goes all the way to overtime here with another ridiculous play here from something, right? I guess I'll just go full screen for this as well, because, I mean, look at this. If your toy's here and you see something do that to you, you're thinking, all right, fair play, like, we'll try and win the overtime. But they didn't win the overtime. They lose the overtime in the end on the Lotus, 15-13, so if not for that clutch from something, it could have been such a different story there. But Loud don't win game 1. They do, however, in just, I don't understand PaperX, because this was their map pick on Split, and they got absolutely blown out of the park 13-2, like it wasn't even close. Forsaken had 3 kills, but this is the thing, PaperX and even teams like DRX now, I think they've shown better resilience in recent times than they have done previously, and it does seem like there's more resilience now from PaperX, because they bounce back with a victory, 13-10 on Pearl, something and Jin comes to play. And it really does feel like if there is a tournament for Paper Rex to win, this is it, right? We know that Jing's stepping away from military service next year. Aspas tried his absolute best and put the team on his back. And I think it was funny because on map 2, yeah, Les was just 24 frags for Les here. And then he just decided not to really turn up in game 3, unfortunately for him. But, I mean, yeah, with Jing stepping away, it feels like it could be Paper Rex's time to win. And as I say, they're probably favourites now, given that they've taken down Loud, the team that took down Fnatic. And, you know, they should be favourites to get to the final. I don't know if they're going to get to the final, though, easily at all, because EG are looking real tasty. I thought that EG were going to win against DRX yesterday. I predicted it to happen, and, you know, it was my prediction that DRX would probably get to, like, top 6 range, and then again they bow out. They looked so good up until this point, DRX, but yesterday just wasn't to be. And Boostio was talking trash. It's good, I think, that these guys have kept up with it, right? EG, like, they haven't backed down on the trash talk or anything. They're doubling down and committing to it, right? And as Boostio says, DRX, we're sending you to the losers bracket just like you did in Tokyo, just like we did in Tokyo. And yeah, history repeated itself. Good luck, you're gonna need it. And they did need the good luck. But Demon 1, I mean, like, have a look at this. He gets a nice little ace here, Demon 1, and then immediately just drops the... tells everyone to silence, basically, after, you know, tells the haters to shut up, is kind of what he's getting at here. Man, it's incredible how these guys will... I wonder if the pressure will get to them at some point, because Demon 1 and co, like, they are still, you know, talking trash and acting in similar ways, and it just doesn't seem to affect them at all. It's quite marvellous to watch these guys play. Honestly, one of the first teams you might ever find that haven't had the kind of, like, second place curse, right? It's been a thing for years in Valorant here, where the second place team at the previous event will get slammed at the next one, but EG have gone top 3 back-to-back now. Incredibly impressive. And game 2 against DRX, it wasn't even close, man. I mean, this series was just done and dusted so fast. 13-9 Fracture, 13-4 Lotus. Definitely EG are not going to be happy with Fracture getting removed from the pool. Boostio said after the series that, yeah, he wishes that wasn't the case, but frankly, it is what it is. And for now, it's still going to be in there, and this is going to be another great chance. So EG and Paper X, both with just great opportunities here to win champions now. Guaranteed advance to top 3. Only one team of the rest of the teams will make it to top 3 anyway, and that includes Loud, DRX, Edward, and of course Fnatic, let's not forget. Demon 1, you know, 2-0 versus DRX, too easy, he says. I mean, the guy wasn't even, you know, he was on the smokes, right? As Awen says here in the replies, like, he wasn't even on the Jet this series. He was on the Astra, I think. Let's have a look at this, actually. He was on, yeah, we got Team 1 here. He was on the Astra and on the Brimstone, like, wild, to go 43-16. What can you even say anymore? Great series from Com, of course, and the entire team, but, yeah, DRX didn't really come to play in this one. 13-9, 13-4 on Lotus, and that was, of course, DRX's map pick as well. So they go down to the losers bracket, and, I mean, yeah, back-to-back top 3 placements with both teams coming into Masters Tokyo. The other team that were in the top 3, of course, let's not forget in Masters Tokyo, was Fnatic, and they still have some work to do in the losers bracket. The bracket currently looks like this, and will continue on today, August the 20th, with DRX Fnatic as the final series of the day, and Loud Edward first up. I'm gonna say that Loud and Fnatic should win both these series. I think the time might have come for DRX and Edward to bow out of the tournament, and look, the Fnatic Loud rematch will be fireworks if that happens, to determine who gets top 3 this time around. And let's not forget, only one of those 4 teams will actually make it all the way to potentially take down Edward or Paper X in the final. So things are progressing very interestingly indeed, all across the board. Very much enjoy to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.